Hey guys, Automatic Garage back today with this beautiful 1996 OBS F250 7.3 here. If you heard that just a second ago, that's ice falling off the roof. Had a bunch of cold weather here last week, was very unproductive, had trouble getting parts and everything here, but we're finally got our stuff here for this OBS 7.3, and I'm gonna show you what we're doing here on it. So just an absolute fine specimen of a truck here. I mean, it is mint inside and out in excellent shape. Truck was brought to me because of random cutting off. He said he would crank it up in the mornings to warm up, go in the house, come back out, it'd be off. Every now and then it would have a little hiccup or a miss or cut off, and then he'd always be able to immediately crank it back up even. Never had a crank no start. Right now, after making our cold start video that we made with this truck, cycling the glow plug several times, now I have a crank, runs for about a second or two and cuts off every single time. And what you also notice with that is you come up here and you have an electrical smell, melting electrical hot smell. So on these, what we're typical of, you zoom in here, look at that plug. There's one whole entire glow plug portion of the under valve cover harness connector melted off there. And then this next one is an injector plug, which has gotten hot and all melty looking also. This one over here, I mean, just effortlessly pulls out. Not even a good connection on it anymore. Some of those looking a little bit hot. So you put your nose down here and you can smell this, which when you start getting a bad connection here, it starts getting things hot inside under the valve cover also. Not hot as in temperature hot, but getting electrical hot. A lot of resistance when stuff isn't connected up right. So what we are going to do today, so these OBS 2-plug under valve cover harnesses are getting harder to find. They're way more expensive than Super Duty harnesses. So what we're going to do is convert this one to a Super Duty 1-plug harness here. So instead of having the 2 plugs, we'll have the 1 here. And you can see the glow plugs on these are much bigger. They're the same size as the injector plugs on that one, which are these right here in the middle. So this is pretty simple wiring all this up. You have 10 wires altogether between those 2 on the OBS. You got 9 on here. So the only thing you're sharing is the black common right here in the middle. You will share that common with the common that's in each one of those. And I like to solder this up. I don't use butt connectors. So I solder it up and wrap it all up nice and neat. Looks just like it was supposed to be there from the factory. You got bigger and better connectors here, and you've eliminated 2 connection points and have just 1 then. So it's everything else is exactly the same as far as the under valve cover harness goes, with the exception of you're going down to 1 plug instead of having the 2. All right, so the easiest way to do this, to me, is just pull this engine harness off the truck. It takes all of like 20 minutes to do it. The only part that you got to kind of struggle with a little bit is your crank sensor, and you got your coolant temp plug, and you kind of got to fish this out from behind your upper radiator hose inlet. Other than that, everything comes out real easy, unless you want to pull the radiator hose off, you're doing something else, but we're not doing that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open this harness up and get all these wires exposed to where plug 1 and plug 2 go on each side, so that I can start wiring in the new plug. So like I was saying, this common gets shared between both plugs. Everything else is 4 goes to that one, and these 4 go to this one, because you got 2 glow plugs and 2 injector feeds per plug. So I'm gonna get this opened up, and then we'll start working out our connections and soldering everything. All right, so this is the front of the motor. This is your glow plug relay right here. So here's our passenger side. So basically, we're going to eliminate this plug. We're just going to put it into the wiring harness. And you want to save this full, by the way, and you don't want to cut this ground wire. And you just want to set them to the side, because when you're done, you're going to rewrap the full, and you're going to rewrap the ground wire, the shielding. That's what, to keep it from interference from other things on the motor. So these 4 will go on here, and then the other 4 will go on these wires, which, just remember, you want to set this basically slap dab in the middle of where these 2 are right now for the new harness, since you just have the 1, because your OBS ones they're pretty much right about there and there. So I'm gonna just do one wire at a time, don't confuse yourself, and just kind of figure out the layout of this. I'm gonna do this one second so I'll know how far to trim those wires back, because I don't want a whole bunch of excess stuff on the harness. I want this to be nice and neat for him. So yeah, I'm gonna get busy on this first plug first. All right, we got one side all soldered up here. Got all of our connections, so everything from the first plug is right down here. Made my other joints right here so they're not all laying next to each other. So now we can put this all together, lay it nice and neat. And this is spread out right between our first connector and our second connector that was originally up here, so it'll go right into our injector harness, no problem. I'm gonna post a good, actually I'll tell you what, just do this like this, help y'all out. Letters are a little bit sketchy, but you can screenshot this if you want to help you out. This shows your OBS pigtails and your Superduty pigtail. So now your colors may not be right depending on what brand you get or whatever, but it still shows you what wire from where goes to what plug number on this. So now I'm gonna wrap the shielding back around the injector wires with this ground wire here, and wrap this all up nice and neat. Do the other side, then I'll meet y'all back up on the truck when we're putting the harness on and doing those valve cover gaskets. All right, so there's our shielding wrapped back around. Only has to go around the injector wires there. We wrapped our ground around first and wrapped the shielding back around it. Does not have to go around the glow plugs. So now I'm gonna put some of our plastic wire protector back over all of this together and give it a nice wrap, and then do this side and then get it back on the truck. All right, nice neat wrap job, wrapped up nice and tight. We got our joint where the other plug comes off here. Good to go on that. Now I'm gonna spend about another 45 minutes doing this side. All right, so harness is all fixed. I have tore into the truck over here, valve covers are off. And as soon as I pulled either one of these, got a good old strong smell of a good old electrical fire, melted plastic smell. So if you look right there, zoom in, that one's burnt all up, that one's burnt all up, which we had an injector cylinder 1 circuit high, which would be because of that right there. So what we're doing is, by swapping to that other harness, we're giving this, it's usually the glow plugs a lot of times that cause this to burn up, because those pins are smaller on this old style. Like I showed you earlier, pins are bigger on the new style, and we just have one connector then. So we'll get these yanked off, get all this disconnected, get the glow plugs pulled. The glow plugs will be here in the morning, and we will get this thrown together. So there's a little bit of a better look at that one. And be careful when they're like this, because this plastic will just flake off. So I kind of put my hand around it and pull the valve cover gasket harness off that way, so you're not dropping plastic pieces down the motor. We got all of our glow plugs out. None of them were swollen up, no problems getting those out. So in the morning, as soon as those get here, we'll spin the motor over, because a little bit of oil gets down the cylinder. I always do that just to make sure we don't hydrolock nothing. Throw the new glow plugs in, put the harness on, throw the wire and harness back on the motor, and a couple little things, air intake, throw that stuff back on, and we'll be good to go. All right, very important step here. We got our ZD30 Motorcraft plugs. Step 1, only use Motorcraft glow plugs. Don't use anything else, you'll be highly disappointed. Step 2, verify your glow plug length. Make sure you have the correct length glow plug. We all know these were running in the truck just fine, no problems with them. Manufacturers make mistakes. Manufacturers change things all of a sudden. Just like the Ford oil coolers for the 6.0s now are now made in China. They look just like a Dorman. Very disappointed with that. These are still made in Germany, just like they've always been. Great glow plugs, nothing wrong with these. But anyways, just verify your length before you put them in. So now we're gonna put our glow plugs in. We're gonna get those torqued. We're gonna put our new under valve cover harnesses on here, get everything buttoned back up, and this thing's gonna be good to go. All right, we're torquing our glow plugs. It's 14 foot-pounds or 168 inch-pounds. Using my inch-pound wrench, just torque them down. And while I'm doing this, man, look how clean this motor is. Extremely clean. All original injectors still, 230,000 miles on them. Of course, customer is very meticulous about his maintenance. Changes his oil himself and everything else. So anyways, very proud to work on this truck. Good old truck. All right, we're all hooked up, all plugged up. We replaced his map sensor hose, had a crack in it there, so he's probably not building boost like he should have been. We're gonna go in there now. We're gonna buzz the injectors, make sure all our connections are great, and then we'll fire up here for a second with the valve covers off, make sure we're good, and then we'll officially button everything up and bolt the valve covers down after I clean them up. This truck's so nice, I gotta clean those valve covers up before I put them on here. All right, we're all hooked up. We're gonna buzz our injectors. All sound very healthy. All right, let's crank this thing up. And you gotta love how these old OBSs sound. I just love that idle, which is because of the mechanical fuel pump, but it just got a good idle and the single shot injectors. But anyways, we're good to go on all that now. I like to just crank these up before I throw the valve cover on in case you got some issue with the harness or something like that, or maybe you have an injector dumping an excess amount of oil out. Either way, we know we're good. We'll button this up. We'll go take her for a drive real quick. What do you think?
It's a clean truck.
It's quiet. Rides great, drives great. Not tuned.
She is quiet. She is extremely quiet.
It's like riding in a new truck. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the video on throwing these under valve cover harnesses on this old OBS and converting it over to the Superduty harness. I think that's a much better way to go. Gets rid of the two plugs. You got the bigger, wider blades for the glow plugs. Makes it less likely to burn up. Most of these valve cover gaskets now have the better locking tabs on the main plug now, so you're less likely to burn them up too than the original ones that came on the truck also. Anyways, thought it was a good fix. Wasn't too hard to do, a lot of soldering. Easiest way in my book is pulling the harness all the way off. Get it on a table on a nice surface for you to be comfortable and doing all that soldering versus laying over in the hood of the truck. Not to mention you're gonna be getting all your little metal pieces and all your insulation that you strip off and everything else is gonna be all laying around up there. I did it on the table right over here, made it much easier for me. Y'all go check out our other content on the channel here. We got a whole lot of stuff on Power Strokes, 7.3, 6.0s, all the way up to the 6.7s now. Got some coming stuff on here and a lot of other Ford content. We got a lot of projects sitting around here. I just realized it today that I've got to get on. I got to call my machine guys, see where the 390 is for the old 67, and I've got to get on this Mini Cooper that I'm almost wishing I hadn't bought at this point and get this motor swapped into it. And then we got the red 6.0 that we bought recently, which I am gathering up parts and collecting and getting ideas and seeing if anybody wants to help out on sponsoring the truck itself. We're kind of working that out. We'll see what happens. But anyways, appreciate y'all watching. If this channel helps you out and you enjoy watching it or just want to support the channel, go check us out at our Patreon right here. We're doing a giveaway at the end of the month, giving away 3 of our automatic cups. I don't think I have one sitting around here to show you right now. But we're going to give those away to y'all. If you're interested in that, go there and sign up for it. You don't have to, but if you'd like to support the channel, we'd appreciate it. It's Automatic Garage signing out. We'll holler at y'all later.